Hi guys, Rob Optimal Bodies, sponsored by Damn Fitness. Quote Rob10, get 10% off some decent gym clothing. Okay, how much do you bench? Biggest question I've ever heard, ever been asked since I've been involved in the fitness industry and the gym sort of scenario now, and the gym environment. Now, I have a personal issue with bench press, so to start off I'm quite biased with it because I've had a shoulder injury and I put it down to the bench press initially. And basically any exercise where you're lying on a bench in the first place. So I can be quite biased with it, but I've done a lot of research around the subject. I've treated people with similar problems, and I think it is the number one cause for young lads and even girls, and regardless of what age really, that are in the gym, because the bench press is seen as the king of all exercises, the big chest builder apparently. So people are inclined to do it. Pardon the pun. Decline, incline, you get it. So they think they need to do bench press. It's usually one of those big lifts that gets told to do, and it's seen as a sign of superiority and dominance and power. The more you can do, the better, and then technique seems to go all out the window. But the main problem is what it does to your shoulder joint and the tendons around and the muscles around that joint. See, the problem is because you're lying on your back and you're blocking your shoulder blades movement. So I'm going to turn around and show you what happens. It's a movement called retraction, which brings your shoulder blades together, which is when you come down on the bench press. So you come down, shoulder blades could come together, and then when you push, they should wrap around and come forward. That's called protraction. But the problem is the bench is in the way. So if you're trying to bring your shoulders back, the shoulder blade should come back. The shoulder follows that line of movement. The problem is if you're blocking your shoulder blade and you're forcing that, especially they're getting really strong, you could have hundreds, even up to 200 plus kilogram on the bar, then you're going to get the bar to your chest because you have to touch your chest obviously, otherwise it's only half rep. That's again something that's implemented that could be a problem. So you're at the extreme range of motion, so if your shoulder blade can't come back because it's blocked by the bench, where's the movement going to come from? It's going to come from the shoulder joint, the glenohumeral joint, the GH joint, which is the ball and socket. That has to increase the range of movement because you're asking it to do a task and the shoulder blade can't do it. So what happens? Instead of coming back like that, the shoulder blade is blocked. See, the head of the humerus comes forward to allow the elbow to come back. Now, yeah, you get the movement done, but what have you sacrificed during that time? Bicep tendon runs up into this area. So what happens is you're pushing that shoulder forward to allow the elbow to come back to get the movement. You're basically smashing into that bicep tendon. You're causing the traction towards that tendon, which can cause little micro tears and even big tears if the weight's really heavy or if it's accumulative over a period of time. You're getting damage over this time. It's fraying away. It's like an old piece of rope. You keep pulling and pulling, or that elastic band. Eventually it's going to give. So that is the main problem. You're blocking that natural movement that we should have. We shouldn't be lying on a bench pressing a weight. Yes, in nature you might be on the floor like wrestling or in a fight, and you have to push away. But it's not that repetition. You're not doing it at least once a week with ridiculous amount of weight, set after set, week after week, month, year. You see what I mean? It all adds up. So it can cause a lot of problems. Usually that long head of bicep tendon, you're getting that pain in the front of the shoulder, deep inside the socket. That's the sort of thing that can occur from doing too much bench press. Now, a lot of people are like, well, what else can I do? I need to do bench press for a big chest. That's usually what people do it for. Unless you're a power lifter, you're doing it in competition, you have to do a bench press, then yeah, you've decided to do that. You might not have shoulder pain, but majority of people I speak to have shoulder pain, and it comes from the bench press, but they continue to do it because they don't necessarily understand what else they can do, because it's a lot of weight, it's a lot of ego. They think that more weight is better to build a bigger chest. Now, the main thing you want to do is allow your shoulder blades some freedom to take the stress off this joint. So what can you do? Dips, a really simple one. It allows the shoulder and the shoulder blade to move, you're not blocking it. So you can use dips. It's a really good exercise for your chest, triceps, front deltoid, anterior deltoid. That's the same muscles that you're working in any sort of push movement like a bench press. So and you can make, it's a lot of weight, like you're lifting all your body weight during that. So say you're 80 kilogram, it's the same as putting through 80 kilogram sort of bench press. And as you get stronger, you need to increase the weight to get in that desired rep range. You can use a belt with a weight hanging down from it, or you can just cross your legs and you put a dumbbell between your legs. It's so simple, and you can add to it. And then also cables, you can even push them or bring them all together. And the main thing is, you stood up, you're not on a bench, your shoulder blades can move. And then even press ups, once you get really good at them, you can get someone to put a weight just a bit lower down from your shoulder blades, so you're not crushing, you're not causing the same problem, but you can get the similar sort of movement without having to need to the bench press. And if you're doing it for a big chest, it's not actually that greater exercise. The function of the chest is to bring the arm, your upper arm, across your body. So the bench press, especially if it's not a dumbbell, it's a bar, you only get to about there, so you're missing a big chunk of the movement. So you get a lot of big front deltoids, triceps, not actually that much pec. I see a lot of really good bench pressers that don't have an impressive chest, so if you're using it for that purpose, which most people are, let's be honest, then there are better ways of doing so. And most importantly, you're going to be pain-free, hopefully. So just put your ego to one side. We've all been down this route. I've benched for years and years, and I daren't not do it because I didn't understand why it was causing pain, and I thought that it was the best way to get a big chest. Once I put that to the side, I learned about the science and the anatomy of the body. I could pick better exercises, ditch this. I've done it for years now, and my chest gets just as good a growth, probably better, from doing different exercises, and they're more fun as well. Plus, you're not queuing up for this bench that everyone wants to use. You can use different equipment, different areas of the gym, and you're not having to wait, and it can ruin your whole workout if you go in and you're set on doing the bench press, but you're waiting around. Oh, wait, there's about 10 other people queuing up for this bench press. Just don't be a sheep, go do something else, see how it affects your chest, and let me know, see if you get a really good stimulation and pain-free. So, any questions on this, please post the comments below. If you've got a shoulder problem, you want to understand a bit more about it, give me a message. Anything to do with health, fitness, nutrition, training, performance, that sort of thing. So cheers for listening, guys. Don't put your ego to the side, don't always have to bench press, especially if it's causing you pain. Then if it's causing you pain, it's your body telling you not to do it. So don't just work through it, otherwise you will end up with a bigger problem, perhaps a labral tear, which is rim of cartilage around the glenohumeral joint, and then you're big trouble. You struggle to do any sort of upper body movement after that. So get in there before it becomes too much of a problem. Prevention is better than the cure. You don't want to be having surgery in your shoulder, especially if you're really young. Even if you're older, no one wants that, okay? So cheers for listening, guys. Thanks a lot.